Anyway, I did a little basil here, so I'm just gonna top it with a little basil, little Parmesan, no, Parmesan, yeah,
Beautiful.
Parmesan cheese.
Okay,
Or I should say, I love you more.
here's our version.
We didn't cook it for
All
30
right. No, that's great. I love it. See?
Oh, wow. What a great frame.
Wow.
I put it in a gold frame. Do you think it looks nice?
Yeah, definitely.
What
I
a
was
great-
thinking it might take away or bring out some of the gold in your artwork.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So Izzy made this for me, everybody, and I was so excited. It's kind of like a housewarming gift and everything. So she's got a lot of art going on that I'm so proud of her. Both you guys, good writers, good everything. And so I'm gonna put this in my bathroom because my downstairs bathroom, I wanted to be like a garden.
Yeah.
And so this reminds me of like, I don't know what your intention was, but for me, it reminds me of like the woods, like the forest with a little stream running through it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, or creek or whatever like that. So
Yeah.
it was really cool.
I'm so glad you like it. I asked like Lisa, I asked Molly, I was like, do you think she'll like it? You know, so I'm really glad you do. And yeah,
No,
definitely.
I love it. And I have a picture that Molly did in the bathroom too, along with some artwork or photos or whatever of that I got from Michigan. You know me. I got one bathroom. That's all it is Michigan. You know, like the bridge, you know, Mackinac Bridge. Now, when I talk about it, you know what I'm talking about.
Exactly. No, but I love the frame you have that piece in. It really does work with it.
Well, I had it here because I was going to put something else in there and it didn't work. And so I thought, well, let me see about this. But I wanted to ask you, what do you think, you know, within the frame? So yeah, if everyone doesn't know, follow Jacob and Izzy, but art by Izzy, right?
Yeah, art by Izzy Rock.
Yeah, art by Izzy Rock, and you can find a lot of her art. So you're only doing commission work?
Yeah.
You're going to give that a try?
Yeah. Yeah, because I had
that's awesome though.
Yeah, I had so many orders over the holidays and just a lot. And I just said, what really brings me a lot of joy is creating special pieces like that one for you, for people's homes specifically. And I got quite a few people really interested in commissions. So I was really excited about that. And I'm when we can have art shows again, of course, I'll offer prints because they're approachable. You come up to an art show and you want to get a print instead of commit to a piece.
Like different varieties of them.
Yeah, but I've had people around long enough that they like my art, they have prints, they have things, and now they are ready to commit to a commission. So yeah, it's been really, I have a lot, I'm pretty booked out for the year, but.
So commission is, they're giving you an idea of some of the colors and things that they want.
Yeah, they pick the size, they pick the color, they send me photos of the location they plan to put it, which really helps, like you did. Really helps me get a feel and just the energy of the space. But most people just want to be able to tell me all the colors that they want, you know? Mm-hmm. And so I'm really excited. Some people have commissioned really big pieces for this year. So I'm going to be going pretty big.
I think that's awesome.
I'm excited. 18
and Jacob, I think your thing with photos and everything, it'd be great to just have like a table book of just on the road.
Yeah.
You know, photos, like, because either you know, all the photos you took on the road or walking or, you know, in the environment in Bend that you're at.
Yeah.
We just got some film photos back. Actually.
We just got some, I think I sent you a couple from when Grandpa visited, but we just got a bunch from when we went to the Painted Hills. It was I think we went there for like our 1 year anniversary or something.
I cannot wait for Chris and I to do that because.
Have you been to the Painted Hills yet?
No, I haven't. I thought I was going to go there last year on the motorcycle trip, but I guess it was more off the road than we had time for.
Right. Well,
I think the road was what?
I was just gonna say I would go in the spring or something because then it won't be too hot, and you could bring Felix maybe if you were going to.
Yeah, you should come then. and we could make a trip of it. It's only about an hour 30 from our house.
Yeah, I was telling Chris it'd be great if we went there like mid-April.
Yeah.
You know, and even if there is a little bit snow, that's, you know, a little snow on the hills. I think that's kind of cool from some of the pictures I saw.
Yeah, I'll have to send you some of mine too. It's really a great place.
Yeah, it just looks like you're, I don't know, maybe on another planet. The way the mountains are painted, the hills are painted. There was one that was just like completely red.
Yeah.
Well, it reminds me, well, it doesn't remind me, it is God's creation. And it's amazing that when you take the time to really look at it, can you imagine? It's like painted, like there's different color variations, and it's a beauty of its own, out west all the way to the East Coast.
Yeah, we were just talking about art, and it really inspired me to like work with those colors, those rich reds and the browns, and it was just I did a lot of paintings because of that. It just inspired me that nature is just so beautiful, and I have so much inspiration.
There's like, the whole place is just so interesting. I don't want to talk too much about it, but it's great.
Well, I think that's what your art does a lot too, Izzy, because some of the art that I've seen on your, you know, Instagram and all that stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, that reminds me of the ocean or the sand in the water, or, you know, a flower garden or something, or some of them were like storms, or, you know, and I'm a big fan of storms and thunder because we don't get them here.
I know.
Like I did, you know, out in Michigan.
Yeah, that's a whole nother storms.
The one thing I was going to say about this dish that I'm making, and you probably have done it as well, is that I've only, I think in the recipe, which I may change, I only do the, Marzano. I really like these Italian tomatoes, Marzano, and a little bit of tomato paste, but sometimes that doesn't create enough sauce for people. So, you know, people can feel free to add some tomato sauce to it to make it a little more saucy. Okay, I'm almost done with my mushrooms. And what I'm going to do after that is remove the mushrooms and then add in my seasonings. Add a little more garlic. So if you want to chop up some more fresh garlic, or garlic powder is fine too. And add a little bit of salt. Add your seasonings. Let this warm up and get the tomatoes soft. And then I just mash them with a fork or a potato masher. And I think that's a little detail I got to change in the recipe. And then I'll add my vegetables back in here.
Oh, okay.
Because if you're mashing up the tomatoes with the vegetables in it, then you're mashing up your vegetables. I made this, oh yeah, that's what I should have done. Sorry. I have the end result.
Say what?
I made this yesterday for Chris and I, so I have it already done because I wasn't sure how much time we would have. You guys have your water boiling for your pasta?
Not yet.
About to do that.
Neither did I, so I just turned it on.
Okay.
But if we don't want to wait for that, I definitely have some pasta left over from yesterday.
We also have some leftover pasta sauce, just a little bit. I thought about just adding that to use it up.
So do you do a lot of rice and beans, you know, being vegetarian?
Yeah, we try to add beans to get some good protein.
And fiber.
Yeah, about every meal. We like black beans. That's pretty much what we do. We don't do kidney.
I like kidney though.
What is it? The pink one, pinto.
I like pinto, white beans.
Oh yeah, white beans are good.
Tell you the truth, I love hummus. I do not like garbanzo beans. I love crunch, but I don't know. There's just something about it. But I love roasted garbanzo beans.
Huh.
So I'm hoping to cook and do a Zoom call with someone that, boy, she's been cooking a long time. She's been on the Food Network and stuff like that. She was here in Portland for a little bit. I wish I would have got together with her, Kelsey Nixon. But she does a lot of the bowls. And so she had garbanzo beans, but I would roast the garbanzo beans because, I don't know, it's just more palatable to me.
Yeah, I made a chili, a big pot of chili the other day, vegetarian chili, and I used all different kinds of beans. I added, I think, like 4 cans of beans. It was really good.
What, pinto, black beans?
White beans.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, you know, for some reason, I'm not a fan of kidney beans, though.
Yeah.
Or no. Yeah, the red kidney beans.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I used to be. I'm not sure. Maybe they're too big. Maybe they're, I don't know. They're good in chili. Okay, I'm going to take these out. My mushrooms are done, and I'm going to add in the tomatoes. Oh, first of all, oops, sorry, I'm going to add in the wine. Hi, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you are enjoying it, and I would really appreciate it if you liked it and subscribed to it. And oh, don't forget to click that little bell up there, and you'll be notified of future videos that are new and coming on my YouTube channel. So thank you so much for that. And I would really appreciate it if you shared the video and let other people know and encourage them to subscribe and like the videos as well. So anyway, thank you, and back to the video. Because if you did a lot of roasting or sauteing or whatever in a pot, the wine will, you know, get all the stuff that's been stuck to the pan off because of the acidity in it.
Should we do like
so I'm going to add a little bit of wine.
So should we add our veggie broth then?
What was that?
Should we add our veggie broth then?
Will it do the same thing? Okay.
Thank you.
Ciao, bella.
And if you're going to use wine, as the pot is still warm and you still got it on, it'll the alcohol will evaporate, and so now you get this rich red wine flavor.
Dogs out. Dogs out.
Dogs out of the
But
kitchen.
you're right. You don't need red wine. You can use vegetable broth. I'm just going to let that cook for a little bit.
Have that on medium.
Yeah, I'd say medium. Yep.
Okay.
And then I don't know what I put in this direction thing. Oh yeah, Worcestershire sauce. Yeah, 2 tablespoons, or if you want more, you can put more of the tomato paste, because tomato paste will help thicken your sauce.
Well, I thought that would be something good to also talk about, because we use this.
Well, Worcestershire is like a steak sauce.
I know, but she said in the recipe, she said or soy sauce.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And so I was just going to show you. This is what we use.
Liquid aminos.
Yeah, aminos.
And that's what we use for our soy sauce. It's soy sauce alternative, because as you know, soy sauce has fish in it.
And it's just Bragg's, you know, Bragg's makes the apple cider vinegar and stuff like that, so it's pretty good. And they make nutritional yeast.
It adds a good flavor once you do make the rice dishes. If you do kind of like, you're going for maybe like an Asian dish or something, you add this and it adds really good flavor.
You know, I'm going to have to give that a try, because as I was, you know, looking up different recipes and reading up, which I try to do, it was very interesting, because that was, you know, definitely suggested as a substitute, or if you don't have soy sauce, amino acid, was a great substitute for it.
And I will say it's kind of, you don't eat a little goes a long way, because it is kind of salty, just like soy sauce would be.
Sure.
But it's great. We love
Well,
it.
that's why I said soy sauce too, because not everyone has Worcestershire sauce or uses it. And I usually get the reduced sodium. For stuff like this, I really try and get reduced sodium, because you have more control over your salt content.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you didn't add salt to the mushrooms yet, right?
I'm going to put the lid on this so the steam stays in the pot.
Okay.
And I've added my tomatoes, so the tomatoes will soften up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and get the finished sauce out of the refrigerator that I made yesterday. I should have gotten out this earlier today, but.
Mom, it's great It's great doing these veggie dishes for you too, because when you do like the meat ones, you can just like, oh yeah, you use this, this, and this, or you could use veggie broth instead of that, or you could use amino, you can have those veggie options for your meat
Yes.
videos basically. So then when people want to make that dish without the whatever, you have all the knowledge,
No, you know what? I think that's great too. And I love trying to figure out what some of these substitutes are that other people can do. But I also tell people, I'm not vegan, I'm not vegetarian, but I think it's a healthy way to incorporate in your menu, in your cooking, because you don't need meat every day.
Yeah, totally.
Because it's also inclusive, people are vegetarian and vegan for cultural reasons, religious reasons, the not just by choice. I mean, and I choose to, so what we're using, like this is gluten-free too. This, what we're doing, because our pasta is gluten-free, is also gluten-free. And some people are celiac, so they can't consume, gluten, things like that. So just having it's really inclusive to be able to have the different variations. Just like with yoga, when I was learning, I learned, adjustments for all different body types, all different kinds of people, their different, ailments that they may have, because then it's approachable for all people,
Yeah. Well, and then also when it comes to yoga, the point is not exactly doing it right.
Yeah.
But figuring out those poses that are similar to the more what you're supposed to be doing that is still good for your body. Because like I love yoga, but I can't bend it, because I don't have the arms and legs and body for all that. But I think that stretching, that strength building is still important regardless. So find different ways to do some of those things while still enjoying the benefits from it.
Yeah, it was fun when we did it. Me, you, Molly, Tori, Jackson, and
Jim. Yeah. Well, it's so funny because when I started, when I made this recipe, or my version of it, I should say, is that I thought, I hope Chris likes it, because he's a meat guy. He's a meat potatoes guy.
Oh yeah.
And so the first time, he ate it, he liked it. I was like, okay, I'm going to change this, and this to the recipe. And so when I made it for us last night, he goes, well, I want to add some meat to it. I'm like, are you sure? Like, you liked it before, didn't you? And he kind of hesitated. So I thought, okay, he tolerated it. But then towards later on in the evening, he goes, you know what? You're right. He goes, I'm going to have to try and adjust that I don't need to eat meat all the time. And so it's a good thing you're making it. And I was like, yes, go.
Yeah. Even
now all I have to do is help him to eat vegetables. That might be a tougher road to go down.
I mean, I even used to be like that. My grandma was from the Midwest, Iowa, man. The same thing. Meat and potatoes, just like, and I thought I had to eat meat every meal too.
Yeah. Not even just for like your health, but for energy and, environmental reasons. Just once a week, not eating meat, like in your meals, like have a veggie day, just saves so much for, it just gives you that like, oh, wow, I can eat food and I don't have to, it just breaks that sort of mold. And also it like drastically reduces your
environmental footprint.
Environmental footprint as far as like,
I also think it's healthy for your body too.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all around good to just once day or like, once a week, have that sort of break if you can.
It's an adjustment though. Give yourself.
Oh yeah, there's lots of good things.
But that's an easy way to just say once a week, I got this,
Well, like what we were talking about on the phone. I mean, there are certain diets people need to do for health reasons or whatever else. I love to cook, and so I was never a fan of those diets where you had to get rid of everything.
Yeah.
Like no carbs. Well, as we talked about, beans have carbs but beans are good. They create a lot of fiber. There's a lot of vitamins in it. But like I tell other people, number one, it's your quantity. Don't have so much at one meal. And also you don't have to have carbs, so much of it every single day. Just think about what is in front of you. How are you eating? how much are you eating? What are you eating? And I think that to me is a much better diet that you can sustain instead of, because your body needs certain things. It needs sugar, but what kind of sugar?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I must admit, I love baking. I love cookies. I can't stop at 2. I should, but no, it's 8 to 10.
Yeah.
Well, Amy, like, why? Stop at 2. You don't need 8 to 10 cookies.
Yeah, but I do like those, you know, I mean, I'm not a diet person, but the diets that are mostly like eat whatever you want, but like generally just be conscious of what you're eating and then like what type of things you want to gain from this sort of diet, and also what type of things you're eating as far as like different types of carbs or sugars or whatever, you know. But generally just like eat whatever you want, but just be aware of it.
Mindful and aware.
Yeah, mindful.
Yeah.
And now I think we live in a time too where people are getting so creative, just putting different things together and making amazing dishes.
There's really no of those constraining rules kind of like in cooking anymore. It's like everything's a go. Like you guys, you know, you and your brothers and sister on the farm, you guys were more grazers. I mean, it's like, you know, a little bit here, a little bit there. And a lot of people said, oh, you know, I said, I don't think there's any wrong with grazing either, because number one, you're eating when you need to eat, and you're eating enough so that you go out on the farm or whatever you're doing. And I was fortunate enough to raise you guys on the farm. You burned it off and then you eat to gain a little bit more energy and stuff. But I think the thing with grazing that people have a harder time to do is, what do you eat? They grab quick stuff that may not be as good or healthy.
That's why with this guy, I try to make sure there's like good snacks, because I know that's what he's going for, is the snacks. So having some good snacks, you know.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go ahead because I forgot. I'm going to add some salt and my seasonings in here. And because I don't have another garlic chopped up, I'm just going to add garlic powder. And I like a lot of herbs, a lot of seasonings in my food.
I added a little bit of oregano.
Yeah, oregano. I did have oregano. Oregano's good too. I think any basic Italian seasoning. Now, rosemary, to me, I would be a little careful of, because I think that's a very strong herb. And for this, you know, these veggies and mushrooms, it's a lighter dish. Like if you had meat, I would add rosemary, but thyme, oregano, what's the other one? And Italian seasonings, I think it's good because it just has a hint of rosemary without it being too overpowering. Okay, you guys, I'm going to add in some pasta.
Okay, let's do.
Do you add any salt or oil in your pasta water?
I add salt.
Okay. Sometimes I add a little bit of oil. Some people don't like that because they don't think the sauce adheres to the pasta, but it depends. And usually, I think this is the other thing. I don't think I really ever did this when I was cooking in my early years and everything, how important it is just to add a little bit of your pasta water into your sauce or whatever, because that creates flavor and it helps with the starchiness in the water to thicken up your sauce as well. You don't need a lot of it, but if you want to thin out your sauce a little bit, definitely incorporate some of your pasta water.
I didn't know that. That's a great.
Yeah. Yeah, I just started doing that years ago. Well, here is my sauce from last night.
Nice.
Yeah. It's got that nice brown, red, rustic.
It's beautiful.
You know. So yeah, I like it. So I'm not sure if I'm just going to use this sauce in a soup because I'll have a lot of it left over.
Mm-hmm.
Or the other thing I do, you know what I do now? I just pop over Jeremy and Audrey's house or Zach and Tori and say, hey, I've got food for you.
Yeah.
If you want it, great. If not, do whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm making these lemon bars again. So I'll probably drop off some of the lemon bars. Yeah. Okay, the other thing that I do with these tomatoes, because I think I have them soft enough, I'll just mash them with a fork or a spoon so that they're still a little bit chunky, but they're not whole tomatoes.
Okay.
And then I'll put in the mushroom, the carrots, onions, and celery that we cooked up. And I have found that I really don't need the sauce, the tomato sauce, because I think it's enough saucy for me.
Those veggies look so good.
Hey, Jacob, you know what I'm trying to do?
What?
I think I got a cast iron, a real one that's already pre-seasoned and everything. But I'm beginning to really try and do a lot more cooking on a cast iron.
Yeah.
I mean, these are ceramic cast iron, but I'm talking like a real cast iron.
Yeah, we have a couple here. We have a really, really big, like, I don't even know, like 20-inch
Wow.
Pizza pan. We got it for our wedding from Izzy's like family friend.
Yeah.
But we have that big one, and we have like a couple medium-sized ones, but they were in our van for a while, and so they got some moisture, and so I need to like refurbish them basically. But I really want to start using them again.
Well, you taught me a lot when you were at the farmhouse living with me.
Right.
The process that you went to.
Yeah.
The thing I was going to say is that if a fork doesn't work, always you can use a potato masher to mash up your tomatoes a little bit. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add my veggies because underneath here, the carrots, onions, and celery. I wanted you guys to see this sauce a little bit. This is my mushroom ragu. Oh, this looks so hearty, so earthy. I love it. I think one thing I'm going to try and do, you guys, is I think that's good. Is get some more cameras. I want to redo my kitchen here and get a better fan that's up higher so it doesn't feel so squished right there. So. Okay, what else is happening in your guys' world?
Woo! Just dropped the knife.
That happens, believe me.
Nothing much. Still reading a lot.
Yeah.
Just hanging out really. Just.
What are you guys doing for Valentine's? Anything?
Maybe just go out into like the snow, a little bit west of here and play with the dogs or something. We're not gonna go out to eat or anything, but we'll make something here, drink wines or cider.
It's one of the things that I love, what Jeremy and Audrey are doing. It's just giving people ideas that, and I was always a big fan of this. You know how your dad just always wanted these big things. It's like these small little moments are just as good, if not better, because you can make them happen more often.
Yeah.
And you just share an experience or just a walk even. And so
actually, this park she just found recently in Ben Shevlin is where like this particular portion of Homeward Bound was filmed, I guess.
Oh,
and anyway, just a really beautiful creek park that has like multiple trails that like
we'd love to go hiking there.
So it's like a really great because it's so big that you can walk there and just like basically be alone for most of it. You only see people at the junctures. It's just a really nice couple walk.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we told you we're taking photos with Monique today.
Yes. So tell her I said hi, and that tell her I said hi, and I'm very excited that I feel bad that other people canceled, but who cares, because I'm glad she could do my wedding.
Yeah, it's awesome. She's good.
Yeah. Well, I am almost done here because my noodles are almost done, I think. I think my noodles have a little bit more to go.
Yeah.
Ours too.
Okay, that's great. Well, I'm going to clean up my area just a little bit because I want to show you these lemon bars. And if you want, I can make them in front of you if you don't have those ingredients.
We have the ingredients, so we're planning on making them. Jacob was really excited about.
Okay. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So when, you can do whatever you want in serving this. You can incorporate the noodles within the sauce. I generally just like the noodles with the sauce on top. and I'll shred some Parmesan cheese and either parsley, or if you got some fresh basil, roll up your basil, slice it, and so you have these little ribbon basils, things, garnish. So that's really fun too. I'm just gonna go ahead and get a new cutting board. Well, was this fun, you guys?
Oh yeah, super fun.
So,
We're both leaning.
Yeah, it was fun.
So, tell me what else you like to cook, or, I don't know. You said in general your favorite dish. What's the favorite ingredient or vegetable or whatever that you like to cook with?
I like broccoli, like really like small cut broccoli, just in like most dishes, like pastas or rice or whatever. It's really really good. I don't like to, like the big chunks is like always so like, because it's such big stem, but if you cut it up, broccoli's like one of my favorite veggies probably. I don't know.
It's funny. I learned a lot of things from my mom cooking, and she would have, so we were accustomed to eating a ton of veggies because she cut them up and put them in the dish. And so it just went, the flavor and everything went together. And we would have friends come over who were picky, and they would be like, what's in this? And I would say, I don't know, just eat it. It's good. Trust me, it's good.
And that's what you used to us.
And so with him, I noticed that if I cut everything up, small enough and everything, he's good to go. And so it's just interesting that you can pack so many veggies. I use a lot of mushrooms.
Even like carrots and, like onions and stuff. I love it when they're like cut small for some reason, like diced or something almost.
And a good onion, add onion.
Well, I think because, the smaller the things you can, kind of get the flavor, and it's just not all carrot or all onion, because onions have a strong flavor.
Because I guess this is it. I'm like a mixer of my food. Like if I have a rice dish with a bunch of things, I'll like, mix it all up. So it's like, that sort of generalized evenness. But she eats like things piecemeal. She's like, oh, one bite of this and then one bite of this and one bite of this. I don't like that. And so people with big veggies, or who like big veggies, they like a whole veggie at once, whereas I like the little things that are then generalized.
But isn't that beautiful? That's literally what love is you find
she's big veggie, I'm small veggie.
Yeah, happy medium, and you just make it work. Because we also really love to do like taco night. He really loves just like burritos, tacos, so make our own. And we hardly eat out. I mean, it saves so much money. When we first moved here, we were excited about all the new places to try. But now we know we can make it at home, make it just as well.
Yeah.
Saves money. So.
Well, I mean, Jacob grew up with, I was fortunate enough to be able to be at home, with the kids, and, then I had to go back to work or work 2 part-time jobs, whatever. And so I sympathize with a lot of working families on how do you put a good meal, a healthy meal on the table. And to me, that's why help your kids to like rice and pasta. Those are very quick, friendly ingredients, because you can add and put anything to it, but you can also stretch a meal as well. Mm-hmm. And with veggies, Jacob, I'm not sure you were that much of a veggie person. I mean, what kid really is a veggie person, when they're young? So it's great to see you that way. I don't know if I'll ever convince Chris to eat a lot of veggies, but he will force himself because he knows it's good for him and stuff like that. I love roasted vegetables.
Yeah, me too.
But I found that sometimes roasting broccoli, it roasts, but they're still crunchy. They're not like cooked. And so what I got, because I didn't want to invest in a whole big steamer thing, and I think that pan that I got you guys, you can do several things to it. Yeah. So what I got to fit some of my pans was just having a basket and just to sit on top in the water. So the steam cooks the vegetables without it, being watered down.
Yeah. We actually do that a lot, and it's broccoli, and we steam them, and then rice, and then it's delicious. Yeah, we really do that all the time.
How does just almost like tricking Chris into eating veggies? How does he does he eat his food one at a time, or does he mix his thing, like his plate?
No, he's more, it's so funny because when when he eats, if it needs to be mixed in, he'll go like this. Yeah, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and then he'll take this into that. He's very neat and like orderly. I'm just like, oh yeah, oh.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Okay, well, normally I would say cook your sauce for at least 30 minutes because I think the flavors are enhanced and everything gets to be friends with each other. And, you know, the flavor is just so much better if you can cook it at least 30 minutes. An hour is great. You don't, a lot of people don't have that amount of time, but I would say at least 30 minutes,
Okay.
you know, but we don't have that. So I will plate it up. Where is a bowl?
That's one thing, is just finding, you know, timing for things. That's a big thing about cooking, is timing and being patient. I'm not patient when it comes to rice.
You know, I'm not as patient either, especially when it comes to baking.
Yeah.
You know, yeast. It's not my enemy, but it's not exactly my friend. But I will keep trying. I'm going to get it. I'm going to beat it. Where? Oh, here's one. I mean, look at that. I mean, is that not good?
Oh yeah.
Like when you brown the mushrooms and you don't steam them, it just makes a richer sauce, a lot more flavor. I hope I added enough seasonings to it because normally I forgot to taste my sauce. And then this is what I do. I'll just put a little Parmesan.
She said it. She practiced it.
I know I do, yes. Because so many people get after me, Parmesan. No.
You should be.
I say in my mind, Parmigiano Reggiano, so it's Parmesan.
I remember I was first living with Izzy and her brother or something. We were eating like a pasta dish, and I think like we wanted the Parmesan cheese, but it was like in a little shaker, and so I went and grabbed it, and then I brought it over to the table, and I was like, "Do you guys want any Parmesan?" And they both looked at me like, "What did you just say?" And I was like, "Do you guys want some Parmesan?" And they just laughed at me, and I was like,
It
"Oh my
wasn't a
god!"
bad thing. It was just the first time we'd heard it.
It was literally the first time I had been checked on that, though. It was so weird, you know.
Well, Molly, you know, that's the story Molly told me too, like in college or, you know, something like that. Because, you know, that's how I said it.
Yeah.
And she goes, Mom, so many people made fun of me. Like, what did you do to me?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just got in that habit. And of course, Lisa, being Italian, she's like, what in the world?
Yeah.
Well, listen, my grandma called the couch the Davenport.
That's just
and she says you're gonna wash your clothes, wash your dishes.
Yeah.
She says, and I think it's endearing. I like it, and it makes its character. Now we'll always remember how my grandma said things, you know.
Well, that's the thing I want to get back to is like trying to find better ways to cook more traditional Midwest meals, and because you know, I think we're losing that distinctiveness in the different regions of the states because you can find whatever you're cooking and making in the West or California, you're finding it elsewhere. But it's like, I want traditional Southern food.
Do you know?
There's a history to it. There's a legacy to it. There's a story behind that. I want, you know, Northeast or the East Coast or, you know, the Great Lakes and up in the UP, the mining ore and copper.
Yeah.
And that's why I love to travel because it's like, I remember going on the speaking engagement one time down south. And, you know, because of who we are and everything, they wanted to take me out to some fancy restaurant or whatever it was. And I'm like, well, I would really like to go to somewhere traditional, like fried chicken or okra or grits or whatever it is. Really? You want? I said, yeah, because that's what makes here so unique and culturally and history and legacy and storytelling and, you know.
Yeah, so. Like visiting a place on its own terms.
Yeah. Yeah. And not that I'm too adventurous when it comes to food, like especially over in the Asian countries. I think I would have a hard time eating some of the stuff that they eat because we're not accustomed to it.
Yeah, when we went to Iceland, the dish that you know, you go to Iceland and people are like, well, did you try fermented shark? Like
blubber.
Blubber, yeah, it's like literally just shark
and
fat.
it's exactly as you imagine if you Google
and
it.
We did not try it.
It's just on
it's really like our bacon. I mean, look at our bacon fat.
Yeah.
True.
We didn't try it, but we will. I will say, even though I'm vegetarian.
So there are things that I won't, you know, go and adventure with, but yeah, definitely trying to eat like what, you know, wherever you
Well, I remember going to Scotland. I don't think, were you and Molly with us, or was I by myself? I can't remember.
We went to Scotland for a day, I remember.
Yeah. And we went into this, you know, small little town, a little restaurant, and I thought, okay, I want to try something traditional. And was it haggis? They said, oh, you got to have haggis.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, brothers, I don't even want to ask what it is because I know it's something. And it was kind of bland, though. I would have added a little more seasonings to it. But, you know, it was good, you know, and it's kind of like shepherd's pie a little bit because I think it had potatoes in it. But really, it's the leftover stuff of meat. But then I thought, well, it's probably like sausage. You know, what we eat as sausage, I think was kind of like this.
Right.
Like I said, I don't even know what it all is because I did not ask.
What?
But remember when we went down to Florida, Jacob? We took that trip in Florida. Like we didn't do the more touristy stuff like Disney World and all that. We took some of these side, you know, things. And we rode on, we did a
the maggots.
airboat ride through the glades and stuff like that. And the tour guide or host or driver or whatever said, oh, well, you know, you want to see something that if you ever got stuck out here and how you could survive. And you know how he took a reed and then when you see these holes, that means there's grub in there. Well, that's got a lot of protein and all this stuff. And I think everyone did it. Was it Molly or Zachary that refused?
I think Zach didn't do it.
Yeah. But I ate a grub right out of the reed because not that I ever want to do that again, but you know, those are experiences that, like, look at us, we're sharing in that story and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, I did a little basil here. So I'm just going to top it with a little basil, little Parmesan. No,
Beautiful.
Yeah, Parmesan cheese.
Here, will you do this while we rinse?
Do it.
Our noodles, straight noodles.
So this is mushroom ragu. And you can find this over at amyroloffslittlekitchen.com, or please go to my YouTube channel, subscribe to it, because you can find this and all the other recipes over there as well. So yeah.
Ours is almost ready. Yours looks amazing. Okay,
well, hopefully this is Chris's lunch. And you know what? I tell this story often. I've told it before. I love Bobby Flay. I see, you know, some of his stuff. I think I was watching a recipe, brunch with Bobby. I love the fact that he admitted, it's like, you know what, I don't have all of these recipes memorized. So he had his little notes of what to do next, you know, in the particular recipe he was showing. I said, Bobby, I love you ever since that.
Okay.
Or I should say, I love you more.
Here's our version.
We didn't cook it for 30.
All right. No, that's great. I love it. Well, hopefully you guys like it. Hopefully it's a different version of what you normally do.